Yeah, so talking about the movie, talking about COVID, the movie London Confidential that has just released recently is about a disease that is about to spread in the world. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, that's the backdrop. I
Mhm.
think the film is really about um, the mole in the system. The mole that's keeping leaking out information in the Indian. Um, there's a whole bunch of characters that work in an embassy, are fronts. There's the raw agents, there are fronts, and within this whole team of Indian diplomats, and you have someone who's leaking out vital information, and we are trying to sort of track that person down. So that's really what the film is about.
What was the inspiration behind making this film, or the director's vision of making this film?
Well, you'll have to ask the director and the writers that, not me. I'm your actor.
All right. So how was the experience working in a filming during COVID?
Uh,
And
it's the new. It's the whole world is adjusting to this new new way of working, and it was strange. I have to say, it was we were. I mean, of course, safety was the norm, and hats off to Zee5 for being, I think, the first um, platform to put out a film, a full proper feature length film at this really difficult time, and which was shot also just after lockdown. So really hats off to them for pulling it off. Lots of different ways of working now. The world is the I think film production world is still grappling on getting all the compliances in place because of COVID, and how they should deal with it. And every now and then you keep hearing about productions, not only in India, even big Hollywood productions shut down because of someone getting unwell or something not being managed properly. But yeah, it's a strange time. We are trying to survive it, and we're trying to ride it off. And though there are lots of precautions being taken, and masks and cleanliness and tests, I have to say it is quite hard. It's
mm,
it's 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 not as fun as it and open. As a creative person, you have to be sort of free in doing whatever you
yeah,
want to do. But I think the COVID and the virus and all these compliances are a little sort of hard to deal with. The producers are dealing with it, and it's also a big cost, a new cost to the producers. So that's being also taken into account. Well, we'll have to just wait and see how long we have to live by these new rules.
yeah. And how long was the whole filming? How long did the whole filming take?
I think it was about uh, 3 weeks in totality. I was
Okay.
I, was- I was on the shoot for 2 weeks, so
Okay.
I think they shot another week or 8 days after me, after I left. So yeah,
And it was all shot in London.
all in London. Yes,
Wow, that's awesome. So the
I think
entire
London
team
was
came
also one of
from.
the first cities that opened up to for
Yeah.
productions to come and start working. So that was good, because I think there was another one or two films that we heard about that were shooting in London also, while we were in production. I think some Hollywood stuff, and there was one British film that was shooting also.
Hmm, awesome. And any new films coming up for you, or anything exciting coming up for you in terms of work?
Well, at the moment, I'm going out to shoot another series that I've done a season one for already, and it's season two that I'm setting out to do. But again, that's in India, so we're trying to figure out how do I get there at the
Yeah.
moment. In fact, I have a call tomorrow with production to figure all that out. So, I mean, it's just all just going on with trying to see what happens next now.
Yeah, and when
Is
you
is,
go to
is,
India, or
is
you,
Australian films working? Are they shooting? They've sort of shut everything down.
yeah, I think they're getting back into action, but it's kind of all within Australia. Like you probably wouldn't be able to travel outside, so I think it's
Mhm.
still happening. So I think it's all kind of normal here at the moment,
Mm,
um, which is great.
mhm,
Um, but yeah, you can't travel. But I'm sure between when you're traveling countries like from India and London, then you'll
mm,
have to do the quarantine for two
mhm,
weeks. Is
mhm.
that right?
Yeah, quarantine there, then quarantine back here. India is not clear. I mean, I don't know. The information I'm getting is 2 weeks, 7 days. So there's no clarity, and I think a lot of that discretion is with the immigration officer that lets you in, and which city you come into. It's different.
Um,
So we have to take all that into account while we set out to do this. So I honestly, I'm waiting for production to get back with me with all these responses tomorrow, so we'll know then.
yes, that changes the whole creativity of
Yeah,
filming and things like
yeah.
that. And how's life in London with COVID and
Uh,
her and your
well,
wife?
well, I must say lockdown was great fun.
Yeah.
In terms of me and my family got a bit ill at the beginning of lockdown, which was in March, and March into April. So we were 3 weeks in sort of self isolation, and that was a bit hard. But after that, we sort of really started enjoying ourselves because 2019 was spent largely in traveling a lot back and forth from India to London. I moved here in September of 2018. So right from then to about February 2020, I was literally, I mean, flying to India every 10 days, and back. So it was really quite hectic. And one of the things I thought about in 2020 as a resolution was that I'm going to travel less this year. And I did a trip in February, and I came back, and after that lockdown happened and everything just shut down. And as I said, initially we got unwell, so that was hard. But once we got better and we settled in, it was a really cozy nest that we had here in London with the family, and really spending time with the kids. I have two young children, so
Yeah.
that was lovely to watch them grow. And I think setting out on London Confidential was the first job for 2020, and after that I shot something else, and that was in Berlin, so I had to go for a month away. So going back to work was suddenly I have to leave this nest and fly off, so that was a bit hard. But yeah, I mean, right now the situation is as uncertain as it is in anywhere in the world. um, there are again numbers going up. The winter's coming, so the government is taking precautions and slapping on new norms every now and then about how we should be and how we should conduct ourselves in this strange time. So I mean, one just has to ride this winter out, and maybe midway into next year we'll have more medical solutions to solve this problem.
Yeah, definitely. And there's no kind of work from home for actors and creatives. Um, Whereas a lot of office jobs or corporate jobs, a lot of people can kind
Mm,
of do work like this through Zoom or,
mm.
just work from home, which most of the world is doing. So I feel like that's one of the most impacted industries.
But I think some people have done some stuff. Like I think a lot of actors have built their online profiles and made them stronger, and they're doing some brilliant stuff. I have a my cousin's wife, actually, she's an actor, and she's done an amazing series that's going quite viral online, and it's in Gujarati. It's a Gujarati series that she's been doing, and it seems like it's I mean, I've seen a couple of episodes. It's really good, and the two girls who are shooting on their phones, shooting themselves, and it's the story of these two sisters, and it's quite entertaining. So, and the other
Oh,
actors also I know who are doing a lot of stuff online, um, writers, poets, storytellers. They're trying to build their own. I mean, they're building their online profiles with ads are being shot online. So, people are trying their best to do things. But yes, at the end of the day, you want to get yourself on a set. That's the
that's the aim.
aim. Yes.
And how do you, like you said, you were traveling a lot for work before. So is that mainly Bombay and London, Bombay and London?
Yes, mainly that at that time. Yes, Bombay, London, Bombay, London.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, Bombay, London. As a producer, I work with in Berlin, so I mean, I was there last month, but not last year.
Okay,
Mhm.
awesome. And what was your favorite thing about London Confidential? Um, what was your favorite thing about working in that film?
I think Kawal Sethi, the director, I really enjoyed working with him. I think for me, it's important to, as an actor, to have a great relationship with the director and someone you understand and someone who understands you and someone's sensibility and yours match. These are hard things to find, and I've been
Yeah,
lucky enough that in my career I've found a few directors that I really enjoy working with, and their sensibility and mine really sort of are on a similar wavelength. So I think for me, definitely, if you ask me for the one thing that I enjoyed most was working with him and sort of getting to know his mind a little bit.
awesome. And is this your first time working with Moni Roy?
Well, technically not, but yeah, as an actor, it's the first time we've acted together. But
Hmm.
I know Moni, and we worked on a dance show together, which was a reality dance show called Jhalak Dikhla Cha in India, which
Oh
is
yeah,
done with the
yeah,
stars. So we both were contestants in that many years ago. This is 2014 or something,
yeah.
and that's when I met Moni, and I remember being very fond of her, and I was sort of rooting for her to also possibly. She did reach the top two. This
Yeah,
She
fantastic dancer.
beautiful dancer, and
Mhm.
so you can see the fire that she has within her come out fully when she's dancing.
Yeah,
So I think that's something I really enjoyed about her. And yeah, so and she's quite. Have you chatted with Moni yet?
I haven't. No, I haven't yet. No.
She's really quite warm and loving. So when you speak to her, you'll realize she's a lot of fun to work with also.
Amazing. That's awesome. And how did you meet your wife?
That's not on confidential agenda. She's laughing.
Is she?
We
Is
can
she from London?
another love interview that you want to do some other time. Let's say
Is she from London as well? She's from London.
from London, yes.
Awesome. That's great. And apart from the new series you're doing, any other work that you know that's happening, or is everything just kind of happening as it comes because of COVID?
Well, 2020, at the beginning of it was quite a full year. So there
Mm,
were four projects I was working on, three projects that I was working on that were all supposed to happen back to back. Um, London Confidential was the fourth one that just sort of came in and happened first.
mm,
Uh, the second one I've shot already in Berlin. I can't talk about it right now. It's something that's due to release at the end of 21, so it's
mhm.
far away. Uh, so the series I'm supposed to go and do now, we're trying to find out how I get to India and do. And then there's another film, another Bollywood film that I'm due to shoot in December here, which is being directed by a new director called Shom Makhija, and it's produced by Sujoy Ghosh. So that's a film that's due to happen in December. But that's
Okay.
again
And
that's being shot in the UK, so that will happen unless the UK shuts down for some reason.
does a lot of the films happen in UK? Like London Confidential, was a lot of the cast and crew in the UK itself?
So London Confidential, I think besides Moni and me, everybody was from here.
Oh, okay.
Mm. Even I'm technically from here now, so
Yeah.
because I live here. But I think so. I think Moni was the only actor, and because she was in Dubai through lockdown, she could easily fly to London.
Mm, yeah,
But
because London.
everybody else was cast from here, including myself. So,
Okay. Okay. Awesome. That's great. Well,
so I
thank you so
so I
much.
don't know if they knew that because when they called me first for the film to do it, it was not set in London; it was set somewhere else. So I think that's when they realized
Oh,
they live in London now.
oh wow. So they changed it all the way throughout the process, or?
Yeah, I guess because London, I think, it's really hats off to Zee5 for pulling this off so quickly and being the first sort of platform to put this out there.
Yeah.
As I said that in the beginning. I think they placed the film in London also because it was one of the first cities that opened up for film production. So
Yeah.
they said, okay, let's get it done. And it was a easy enough plot to situate in any country, with similar characters. And so I think they did rework. I know that they reworked the script to suit London as opposed to what it was earlier.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. It could kind of be situated in any place, and you can tweak it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for
You,
chatting with us. Really enjoyed speaking with you, and all the best for your upcoming projects and upcoming films.
Thank you very much, and hope to chat with you again sometime
Yes.
on something else.
All right. Take
All right.
care. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.